4 minutes to the top of the hour. You're still watching Morning at NTV. I am Priva Elibaz Nwamanya. And this discussion right now is focusing on how the arts can actually advance development. Joining me in studio is a man who wears a lot of hats. He's an author, he's a musician, and also a consultant with the World Bank. Mr. Patrick Kabanda, thank you for joining us this morning.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be here, Priva.
We are meeting each other for the very first time, so
Yes.
we're going to learn about each other along the way, right?
Yes. Yeah.
What is the role of arts in fostering meaningful development?
So, first of all, let me define what I mean by meaningful development.
Yes.
Meaningful development is the development which really lifts everybody up, okay? Lifts all boats up, not
Yes.
just some few people. So because we all have creativity in our lives, it's very easy to actually draw on that creativity, promote our own development. And also meaningful development means that then we have to have inclusive development. Development, again, that pushes everyone forward. So the arts can do that by fostering friendships, because there is a term called social capital, which is very important, that sometimes for me to be hired to get a job because someone who knew me recommended me, or as a friend of mine, John Britell, did, to recommend to come to speak on this show.
Yes.
Because he's a friend. So that's one aspect. And another aspect is basically drawing on the ideas you have as a creative person. Not everyone is going to grow up to become an accountant,
True.
a doctor, okay, a scientist, okay, or basically an engineer. Basically, but the creativity we have in us can enable us. You could be a wonderful dancer.
Yes.
And you could make a living as a dancer. There are some fantastic crafts people. I pass by the National Theatre craft shop all the time. They're wonderful, creative. How can we get these people to actually export their products all over the world to the international market? So those are some of the things which I think the book tackles.
I'm glad you talked about the increase of the young people coming up with talent. They're relying more on their creativity as opposed to just being book smart.
Yeah.
But even with the number significantly rising, I think it's proper for us to say that there are challenges that they are facing. As somebody who has been down the road, what do you think are some of the challenges that young artists face in life before flourishing, before making it big?
So basically, I would say mindset. We are brought up to think that, oh, in order for you to make it, you have to go study engineering, which is nothing wrong with that, okay? You have to go to become a medical doctor, you have to become maybe a wonderful athlete, and all these things are not wrong, but not everyone can do that. And that's why you find all these young people. If we all compete for the same job, doing the same thing, how possible is it that we're going to all be hired for the same job?
The same job.
So, but I could be a wonderful person who designs furniture, and I design for hotels and things, stuff like that, but that has to be nurtured. So if I'm trying to study design, I should not be discouraged. I should actually be encouraged. And actually also, some of the best thinkers in the world have been basically they
faceted in a way.
Yeah, multifaceted. They look at things from different perspectives. The arts can help us actually become better designers. Even landscape, our streets, we need more streets. Landscape designers can help us with streets which actually have trees around them. And all those kinds of things are very good for us to actually have what I will again go back to call as meaningful development. So we have to encourage creativity, not suppress it. Suppress
it in the long run. Well, one of the channels or tools of actually outsourcing talent is the talent contests. Myself, I'm actually a product of a talent contest. That was the KFM who's got the mic. Okay. And we realized that much as these contests manage to bring a new talent to light, they also die after a short while.
Yes.
Why do you think that is the case? And also, why are such opportunities not readily available, especially here in Uganda?
So, one of the, basically, I think the misconceptions that basically everyone is going to, it's like this high. There will be a one-time high, and you make it, and you basically flourish. But actually, one of the things, as a musician, I'll tell you that I can learn to play a piece of music very well now. Doesn't mean I'll be doing the same thing next year or even next week or so. So basically, I have to keep on nurturing this kind of thing. So we have to find these kinds of talent shows. How can we sustain them? In a way, it also becomes another form of sustainability. That's not a one-time shot, but it's something which we keep on nurturing and sustaining over the long run. Yeah.
Well, we've seen countries like Nigeria heavily invest in their talent. The Wizkids, the D'banjs, the Davidos of this world, all of them have flourished worldwide because of what the industry is doing for them in Nigeria. How are Uganda's established artists laying ground for the young artists?
I'll tell you that we can learn a lot from Nigeria, but also Nigeria, I did some work I talk about in the book about Nollywood. It didn't start out as basically something which was being pushed officially. So once basically the government or public realized that okay, Nollywood is doing very well, then interest began. So then there was a lot of investment in that. So, but we don't have to wait for that. Okay, it's like saying that we want to grow cassava and let's see if people like to eat cassava. But cassava may have a lot of benefits, which we know about. So we can just actually encourage people to start growing cassava and eating it because we know of these benefits. And then suddenly it will catch up. We should not wait for maybe German wants Ugandan cassava and then we start growing a lot of cassava. So basically we should just try to nurture talent, okay, and creativity along the way so that we can get all these other benefits.
One of the things that people always talk about is the professionalism among Uganda's artists. It has been lucky for a while. We've seen instances of time management. Some people don't appear for performances. Others have camps fighting each other. How did we get to this point? And also how much is that impacting the industry in Uganda?
So there's this other thing where I think creativity, the idea is that oh, you're a musician, you can do whatever you want. You can be on drugs, start doing drugs early in the morning, show up late because that's what creativity do. But in the competitive world, it's not possible. Okay? So for me, when I went to music school, people think you study music, but actually they teach us how to write a resume. And when they teach you how to write a resume, even a simple comma miss is a huge deal. Okay? And they tell you that if you're going to be, in my case as an organist, the idea if they invite you to play a concert at a place like St. Paul's Cathedral in London, or St. Patrick's Cathedral in New York, if your rehearsal is at 1 p.m., you don't show up at 1 p.m. Actually, at 1 p.m., you have to be ready to start the organ key. Because some of these organs, I don't know how your studio is laid out here, the key is hidden back there. So if you show up at the spot of a time, you may waste 15 minutes trying to find where the key is for the organ. Meanwhile, there's another big service which is going to show up right after your concert, and they don't have time for you to be looking around. So they teach you to be disciplined, and I think those skills are needed not just for music, but everyone who is creative and other sectors to actually be on time and try to make sure that we do what we do is taken professionally. Okay.
So we also see that the arts industry has been grappling with policy guidelines, that is to help streamline the industry. Many artists are still unsure of what exactly these policies mean. What is the problem?
Yeah, because sometimes it's effective communication. And then the other issue is that because there's a fledgling industry which is being being recognized, there will always be many things which are not misunderstood. And also for me, let me use intellectual property. So if you talk to me about copyright, I see it in many different ways. As a lawyer may see it in many different ways.
Yes.
Okay? A business person may see it in many different ways. So trying to find a policy we can accommodate for all these things is not that simple. Because, for example, intellectual property, copyright can be very good in that Afrigo band records this wonderful song and they want to make money off this song. If people just go and copy this song, maybe Afrigo may not be basically better off. But then also Afrigo itself may decide, okay, let's give out this music for free so that then we can make money through advertisements, okay, when people use our music or coming to our live concerts. But then also, for example, as I mentioned in the book, when I was growing up at Namembe Cathedral, I used to copy music scores by hand. It would be terrible for a publisher to come and say, oh, don't copy this music because it's copyright. Yet, right now, it would be ridiculous that I don't want to spend maybe $20, $15 to try to buy a book. Because at this stage now, I think I can do that. But so we have to find ways to be like, maybe when the industry is infant, we can just, make it easier for people to actually use content which is not copyrighted. But once the industry is able to pay for this, they should actually then put in the money. They should not keep on riding on things for free.
We've seen a growing trend of many musicians turning to politics at the end of the day.
Yeah.
I could go on and name every single one of them, but would have to spend the entire morning here.
Yes.
Why is that the case? Is the creatives industry not rewarding enough that people have to now turn to other channels to actually go and make money?
Well, it's interesting because in my view, and this is another big topic, I think being a politician is to serve people, not to make money.
Okay.
But I think here that hypothesis can be debated.
Yes.
You have to go to politics as a public servant. In fact, the word is public servant, okay?
Yes.
Not a public mogul. But, you know, if you, of course, make money along the way, good luck. But indeed, it should not be the objective. So many artists, by nature, are always questioning society. Through their music, their drawings, their crafts, they're always observing and questioning society. So it's obvious that if they see things are not going well,
yes,
they want to jump in. Okay? But that should not mean that, oh, I should now go into politics because that's where the money is. And if this is what Uganda has cultivated, you know, that's the way it is.
Absolutely,
yeah.
Absolutely. Unfortunately, because of time, this conversation, we may have to cut it short.
Yeah.
But I'm grateful that you came this morning to talk to us about how the arts can advance development.
Yes.
I've been talking to Mr. Patrick Kabanda. He is an author, a musician, and also a consultant with the World Bank. He's an author of a very amazing book, The Creative Wealth of Nations by Patrick Kabanda. Look at it. Support him because it has a lot of content when it comes to the creatives and arts industry. Let's now link to Julius Ochen in Lira. He's going to give us an